I got home, my mom was up, and I was like, I didn't watch the game. Don't tell me anything. I'm gonna sit down and watch like the highlights and stuff. And the first thing she says when I sit down is like, "Oh, pobre vecino perdió," and I was like, "I just told you, don't tell me anything." Just told her, man. I literally spent all of dinner, all of the night, not being on my phone, not knowing anything, and then I get home, and then she like spills the beans. So I was really pissed off. This is Hermanos FC, and I'm joined today with my little brother, and this is the semifinals of the Copa America Final Four. It is, as the schedule says, it's Colombia versus Canada. No, I got that wrong.
Whoa, Jesus
Hang
Christ.
on, I'm sorry about that.
It's
It's
Colombia versus Uruguay
yes,
and Argentina versus Canada.
yes, you're right. Sorry, I was looking at the
Come on,
Panama
man.
Canada Panama score. Well, let's get into that first. So yeah, not the Final Four I was expecting. So that's interesting because I didn't think Canada was going to get as far as they did. Um, but they're there. Power to them, and props to the coach. Since we're having coach problems on the U.S. side, Jesse March, the American coach, is killing it in Canada right now. Um, but yeah, it's those are the final four. So let's real quick before we get into those teams and what they're doing or what they possibly will do. Let's talk about real quick the Colombia Panama game that jolted them to the semifinals. It was a bashing. It was 5-0. Um,
That was
yeah,
brutal.
let me look at the numbers. So we got 51 possession for Colombia, 48 shots on goal. Colombia's 5 to Panama's 3. Shot attempts, Colombia's 7 to Panama's 14. Fouls, 15 to 20. And the goals by.
Wait, I'm going to have to say that,
Yeah,
looking at those numbers, this looks a lot, more competitive than it was.
right, right.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, yeah,
Granted, yeah, it says 5-0, so maybe not.
yeah.
But, that thing was fucking
We
awful.
got goals.
For Panama,
Yeah,
right? You would want to go into the next round thinking a good game. That's not taking anything away from Colombia because they look pretty good.
yeah. We got goals by Cordoba, James, Los Diaz, Rios, and Borja. With the penalty. Those are the goal scores for that game. Yeah, so I did see that game. It was super lopsided, one sided. Crazy that Panama got to the place that they got to. I mean, there's
Mm-hmm.
no easy road for them, but Colombia's just a strong team, and they look like the favorites. I mean, the at least
I mean,
the dark horse at least, right?
it, if I'm their next game coming up against Uruguay is probably going to be their hardest challenge. I if they can beat that, I don't see why they can't beat Argentina.
You think so? Why would
Yeah,
they why would they be their hardest challenge?
because Uruguay looks so good, and historically Uruguay performs well in these tournaments. In this tournament, sorry, they just look stronger. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're faster, they're quick. Uruguay really looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is probably an even match. Where on the other side, right, Messi, we don't know how he's doing with his
Mm-hmm.
injury. Their defense looked a little sketchy at times. Look what Ecuador did, right?
Mm-hmm.
It took them to penalties,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm just going by what we've seen, not by what we know, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Colombia's been rolling over everyone,
Yeah, yeah.
right? That besides the Brazil game, that was a tie, but even then,
Mm-hmm.
they missed clear opportunities that should have put the game to
Yeah.
bed. But that's their own fault.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with, you know what I mean.
Okay.
So, granted, I know they just played Panama. That's why I said Uruguay would be an awesome test for
Mm-hmm.
them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they beat Uruguay, yeah,
Yeah.
I have them probably a leg up over Argentina
Okay.
because Argentina also going to play Canada. So if they wanted to, they could put their whole bench in, have another week of rest,
Again,
And
okay, all right. Let's before we move. Let's hang on. Let's roll it back. Before we get into that, we'll talk about pretty much what just happened in terms of setting at least these final two teams because Uruguay played Brazil, and let's look at the numbers for that because this game is something we messed up and we didn't watch. I missed the ball on this when we were at dinner, and you pulled up the phone and you're like they're playing, and I was like, what? Like what's happening?
yeah, for some reason I thought it was tomorrow,
Yeah, so we
or today, given that it's Sunday. But even then, I went back and watched the game anyway.
yeah I
So,
watched the highlights.
um,
When I got home, I told you when I got home, my mom uh was like was up, and I was like, I didn't watch the game. Don't tell me anything. I'm gonna sit down and watch like the highlights and stuff. And the first thing she says when I sit down is like, "Oh, pobre Brasil perdió," and I was like, "I just told you, don't tell me anything." Just told her, man.
uh,
I literally spent all of dinner, all of the night, not being on my phone, not knowing anything, and then I get home, and then she like spills the beans. So I was really pissed off. But let's look at the numbers. Possession, 40% for Uruguay, 60 for Brazil. Shots on goal, Uruguay's 1 to Brazil's 3. Shot attempts, Uruguay's 12 to Brazil's 7. Fouls, 26 to Brazil's 15. So one thing that I did see, and let me just share this with you. I pulled up a picture. Says there was 41 fouls between Brazil and Uruguay, and they got into it before the penalties even started.
mm-hmm,
Uh,
mm-hmm.
so now not seeing the game, and obviously in the highlights it didn't show all the fouls. Apparently, it was pretty contentious that the Uruguayan tactics were to go in and just hammer the Brazilians. So how good were they if that was their uh,
That's a tactic, and it worked.
so you're not opposed. You're not
And
opposed to that kind of
well,
bad
you
sportsmanship.
know, that ain't bad sportsmanship. They got the red card. They were getting the fouls called on. It's not. It's
It's not
just
like they didn't get away with it, right? Is what you're saying.
yeah. It's not like they're like, oh yeah, cheap shot, cheap shot. No punishment for you.
Yeah.
No, they got cards.
Yeah.
They got blown whistles.
Yeah. Okay.
They just knew how to play. That was their tactic versus Brazil. It's just not pretty,
Right. Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's just you come out aggressive against a team, and it worked. Endrick played 90 minutes
Did he
yesterday
really?
and got one pass.
Oof. Oof. Okay.
It worked.
Okay.
It worked. They had opportunities, so Brazil can't even talk.
Mm-hmm.
Their finishing was not great because that Rafinha one on one,
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes, I
right?
did see that. Yeah.
That wasn't. It was almost shot at the goalie's
Yeah.
hand, so
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you can't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Darwin Nunes missed a clear header,
Mm-hmm. As he
right?
does.
So like that's her tactic, and they won it. So like, but I still, it's still going back to the Colombia thing. This will be Colombia's toughest challenge, I think. Besides, I didn't see Brazil tougher than Uruguay.
Okay.
Um,
Right. Yeah. Especially if that's what Uruguay. If Uruguay's gonna come in to smoke it up
I expect them to do the
and
same thing.
stop Colombia
Yeah,
on their what do Colombia play at? Do they play a counter or a high press?
they play high
A high
press.
press. So
Yeah,
so in order for Uruguay to stop them, what do they have to do? Play that same game? That,
I don't even know, man. Colombia switches it between like high pressing and then doing such a fast counter attack from with the goalie.
mm-hmm,
Um, so they're gonna keep driving it, and that's gonna leave them in the back vulnerable,
mm-hmm,
right? But Davinson Sanchez's been playing great. They get, I think they get someone back too. I think from suspension. Although Uruguay misses Mendez is gone with a red
mm-hmm,
card, so he'll miss the next couple of
mm-hmm,
games. They still have a bench. They're probably gonna put in Bentancur, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. It'll be closer than what I think. I don't know who wins that one.
Okay,
Right.
yeah,
I'm having a hard time on the Hard Rock Betting app,
Sponsored.
guys.
This
Check
episode sponsored by Hard
sponsorship.
Rock, the betting app
Yeah,
where you
no,
get
it's
all your bets done.
where you lose all your
Code
money, guys.
Hermanos.
I'm not touching that game.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right.
That's
So for this one, the prediction is we don't know. We don't know. Big question mark. We don't know who wins this because I couldn't tell you either. I couldn't say one or the other. I feel like Colombia has the advantage just because they've been doing so well. But like you said, or Uruguay is not a team that they're gonna just run over. So it's like
no.
when if I remember physics, what happens when an immovable object comes against an unstoppable force? Okay, we don't know. We don't know. Like that is the conundrum that we'll see for this game. Moving on to the other group semifinal, or I mean the other game semifinal, Argentina and Canada. I don't know if there's much to talk about on this one.
No,
Um,
Argentina's in the final already, so you might as well
well,
just say that.
okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, do you think that they're gonna have a easy? Here's the thing, though. I don't think they're gonna have an easy game against Canada, though.
It's going to be like a Colombia Panama thing. I don't think they'll get blown out. Argentina's not been blowing out teams,
Hmm. But they get it done.
but
They know how to
they get
win.
it done.
That's the thing. They
Yeah,
know how to win.
it'll be 2-0, 3-1.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
just think
I'm not worried
I
about.
think Canada's just way too fast for them, but they don't have the finishing, and that's
I think this is where Canada stops. This is their end of the road.
okay. Fair
And I
enough.
will and I will bet on that game.
Okay, fair enough. So Argentina for this one. Now,
Yeah.
okay, now that we have our for sure Argentina in the final, our possible not sure in the final. Either way, an Uruguay versus Argentina, a Colombia versus Argentina. Both those teams. How do you see that final being played out in both scenarios?
Who whichever one of those two
Hmm.
passes, um I don't think Argentina win.
Really, against an Uruguay or the way that Colombia's been playing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Ooh, okay, okay.
I think they'll have it, you know. They have such a harder road and like the team will be on such a high,
On that
you
side,
know,
on
on that side.
hmm
And not for nothing, like Argentina besides the Ecuador game, I expected more. I didn't think they'd go to penalties, and that's more tip my hat to Ecuador, not Argentina.
mm-hmm. Okay,
Um,
okay. So,
but I
for sure, the final
for
Argentina you say doesn't win it this go around.
I don't think they win it. No, and that's not saying that they're a lesser of a team. It's just I just don't. I think Uruguay's playing a bit faster, stronger. So is Colombia too.
Mm-hmm,
They're playing faster and stronger.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Obviously, you can never count Messi out. Let's see if he's like, oh, I wasn't injured the whole time. I was just joke. I was fooling y'all. Them just jokes.
you're right, right. He comes and does a master class, and then
Yeah,
we're like, yeah,
and
I
that
guess makes
yeah,
sense that
and
Argentina won.
yeah, and that's with me saying I see Messi every weekend
Mm-hmm,
at Inter,
mm-hmm. Humble
and
brag.
you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. I've seen him enough, guys.
You know him
I can't
personally.
explain this. Yeah, I can't explain the he does. It doesn't make sense half the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So, but I don't. I have to pick. I have to pick,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think they win.
Okay, okay. You heard it here first, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, we
I'm
just
probably
yeah,
wrong.
you might be wrong. Yeah, you might be wrong. You might be wrong. But this is the name of the game. This is the name of the game. You got to put your money where your mouth is, and we're gonna just start betting, so we could.
I wasn't. I wasn't wrong about Mexico. So suck
You
it.
weren't worrying. You weren't worrying about Mexico.
Or
Or
USA.
USA either. Yeah, no, you've been right. You've been right about this tournament so far. So I take your word. I don't take it as a grain of salt. All right, I take it as a 1 pound bag of salt. Okay, it means a lot what you say. So that's pretty much our take on the semifinals that are coming up and the possible final. I think our last video will be an after final reaction video, um, melted in kind of with a possible
Before.
recap of of who the finalists are going to be. But that's
Mhm,
pretty much
mhm.
it for this one. The tournament's ending. It's been a good month of soccer, of football, and I'm excited to see who wins. And I'm also excited for soccer to start back up in all leagues around the world too. So I'm very excited about that. But anyway, with that being said, thank you, Juan, for your insights. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk on the next one.
Bye, everybody. Suck it,